Madagascar, Badioni
All right, welcome to a second episode of the Azania Vision Network. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a second episode of Azania Vision Network. I've got my guests here, which is Nyanga and also Kwezi, who have joined me, and I'm your host, Thank you so very much, gentlemen, and welcome yet again.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you once again, gentlemen. The conversation that we had last was very, very interesting. So we had to do this, and we'll keep on doing this because we have a very enormous responsibility to our community of Africa. And hence the conversation again, hence this whole platform, hence the podcast that we are doing. So, gentlemen, how do you feel, and how's things on your side?
Well, things are going pretty good. This is always obviously like therapy for me. When you're in, the great state of America. You have to find these pockets of, refuge in order to, be able to connect with other people like-minded on the same wavelength. And, it's good. It's good.
No, we're pleased to actually hear that everything is good on your side. We still continue with this very thing. Let's also hear the views and the thoughts of Brother Jens. How's things on your side?
Well, things on my side is okay. It is a good time to come together and, bring this community together and hope, we can improve it and the listeners near and far can gain something out of it.
Yes.
Out of our discussions.
Absolutely. There's only one way to start from where we are, especially after the conversation we had last week. Mr. Nyanga and Mr. Kwezi, the Queen died. The Queen of England died. I want your feelings and thoughts on that. Brother Nyanga, do you want to go first and tell us where were you when you found out the Queen died, and what were your thoughts around that?
I can't remember exactly where I was. More than likely I was at work, but I might have been in the bathroom and looking at my phone, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
It was kind of funny because, while you're, don't mean to be too graphic here, but, you're finding out the Queen's dead and at the same time you're urinating, and it kind of fits. You know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, definitely in the bathroom. So, but hey, I mean, I think it's the chickens have come home to roost. I wish she wouldn't have lived this long, but I think a lot of times we look at people like the Queen of England and other people who obviously are heads of royal households or whatnot. These people, they don't have the power that they used to have. But at the same time, I got into a discussion with a brother of mine, and the discussion was, he said, "Well, the Queen doesn't have anything. She's just a mascot, basically." Yeah. Well, this mascot has $600 million. Yeah. And where do you think she? Not to mention the access to, as much capital as she wants. Of course. That's built off of the back of slaves. So people like to think that she's just a nice little old lady, but it's what she represents. The same reason why, and it's a symbol, but it's the same reason why the Jews don't like the swastika. The swastika does not have any power to it anymore. The Nazi Empire no longer exists. But if you put a swastika in a Jew's house, I'm pretty sure they'll be offended. Of course. And the black people in the UK and the people who are part of the Commonwealth, they're having to see the Queen of England prance around with her children, and they prance around the land like it's theirs. They can go anywhere they want. I'm just, I think it's about time people not only realize that it's a great thing that she's dead, but also they need to just mentally kill and separate themselves from the power of that monarchy, period, because of what it represents. It's the representation that I'm more concerned about. It's not like this little old lady's going to come down and enslave us again, but it's what she represents. Yeah. How she amassed her wealth. That's what needs to be taken away. If she was truly sorry about what she did or what her ancestors did, then she should give all her money back. You see what I'm saying? That would be a true apology. And the diamond that she has around her neck, the diamond, which is worth, I heard two accounts. One was 400 million pounds, and the other one was $400 million, US dollars, that is. Wow. And all of that, apparently, she said she was gifted from South Africa. It was a gift from South Africa.
Gift, okay, yeah, right.
That is a gift. The only thing I can think of is that I don't know how many people, the Azanians, I'm not sure how many of them had to die, in those mines that they were having back in those days. And to get those little diamonds out, and some European sitting somewhere with somebody holding an umbrella over him. And they just went ahead and took everything, That's what happened. I mean,
exactly.
That's a shame.
Thinking of how many people are starving here in Azania, South Africa, I'm thinking a lot can be done. A lot of infrastructure can be done with that. A lot of people's life can be improved. A lot of working environments can be improved or even established under that. And she has it around her neck saying it was a gift. She was gifted by South Africa. You can look that up. It's actually out there. And
that is crazy.
That's really crazy. But you know what? I just want to slip something I want to slip something in as we continue. I want to slip the conversation we had last week. Nyanga said something very interesting that no, she gonna die and go to hell. And it was just 3-4 hours when I found out Elizabeth actually died. And I'm like, okay, maybe we should give Nyanga a list of these monarchs. And
I would like to claim a little prophetic fire for that one.
Yeah.
It's just, I think words do have power, and
of course,
I would like eventually for Buckingham Palace to burn. And I would. Wouldn't it be awesome if we wake up tomorrow morning and Buckingham Palace somehow has a mysterious fire?
Oh my goodness! It's so great to be alive in this time.
I will definitely
to the joy of our heart, right?
Yeah.
Then I'll definitely need you on my army, because if you can speak forth and it happens, then we definitely need you on our army.
Absolutely. But anyways, brother Kwezi, if you want to share anything, you can. But it was not only us who were not, who were actually somewhat joyful, or how can I put this? Oh, let me put it like this: that we're not affected by the death of Elizabeth, and in South Africa, I'd like to inform you here. There's a leader which you might know of the EFF, Julius Malema, who also had comments afterwards about her passing and all of that. And I want to throw in that, and we can listen to that, and we'll discuss from there as to what he says and also our views. Can we do that? Oh, quick!
Let's put it this way, my brother. We are definitely not mourning, and we're not affected.
We're not affected, not in any way, and not in any way. We're really happy. This is the ancestral time. The ancestors are making their presence felt, and
Right.
Yes, and I'm very happy and thrilled for that. So, anyways, gentlemen, let me put in some statement or speech that was given by Mr. Julius Malema. All right, let me do that.
It will be wrong of me to leave this mic without saying to Britain and everybody else who can, we do not mourn the death of a colonizer and a murderer who came and killed our people, and she's wearing proudly a stolen goods on her head. We have nothing to do with the Queen. Renaka spedi but ba ukwa re bolele selaga bona mara wena o ke le khodu le le bolaileng batho ba rena ba utswa di minerale tsa mo Africa, ba utswa di minerale tsa all over Africa. Today people tweet, hey we mourn the Queen. We were colonized by the leadership of Britain that killed our people. So we must not be asked to do wrong things here. We are very clear. The Queen does not represent anything good. Britain has got a lot of gold, yet they don't have a single mine of gold. Those are stolen goods. We must talk about reparation. We must talk about the return of the gold. We must talk about the return of the stolen diamond, and not these other side issues which are not important to us. How can you be oppressed for so many years? After liberation, you've got nothing to show that we have been liberated. You have no land, you have got no bank, you've got no mine. The only thing you have is a hatred of other Africans.
Right, we are back. That was wow. That was just amazing. Yeah, I felt like that could go on and on and on. I love, gentlemen. Did you hear what Mr. Julius Malema said?
Yeah, I definitely heard what he has to say. I think our Nyanga needs to power boost, so he should be back with us shortly. I think he got disconnected.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Just continuing, I just want to translate some of the stuff that he said. He spoke in Bedi. Here saying we as Bedis or Africans, we don't talk bad about the dead. But this one who just died, she was a thief who killed our people. And there's no way we can actually talk anything good about. There's nothing good that she represents.
Exactly.
Because
one thing that people don't realize is this: the Commonwealth, right? We don't have the same wealth in common. No pun intended. We don't have the same wealth in common.
Yes, sir. Yes.
The English, and the rest of the islands which the lord over are not in the same category. We were raped. We were pillaged. The resources that were on our soil were taken and brought to the English, to the UK. So we are not on any common ground. We don't have the same common wealth.
We don't. And I don't think we'll actually have a level playing field until everything is restored back to its normal place. As long as England has gold, so much of gold in England, but yet they don't even have a single mine. That's crazy. That's ludicrous. How's that even begin to be possible and be okay? I challenge all our leaders in Africa, from all the heads of states, from South Africa, as in all the way to Egypt, north of Africa, where all the heads of states going to represent Africa and say, Europe, bring back what you have taken from Africa. We want it back, and we want to represent our stuff. We want to represent our mining. We want to have full ownership of our minerals and all of that. We want to trade amongst each other.
That is the best way in building that black economy that I spoke about in our last show. If we don't own the stuff that we have, we cannot build any empire, any economy.
Yes.
Because whatever resources that we have is going to go to the powers that be.
And that's very crazy. And this thing continues. It's continued. Now they've placed a new representative of the British Empire, the British royalty, which is now is it Charles?
Yeah, King Charles III.
Yeah, they call
That's his name. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now
is back.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
All right, Brother Nyanga, we were still, pondering and talking about what Julius Malema, the president of EFF, what he said. That was incredible. What he spoke about.
I heard most of it. But what was the gist of what he was saying? I didn't catch the end.
The gist of what he was saying, we won't mourn the queen. If there's anything that should be done right now, they have to return the gold and the stolen goods which have been stolen from Azania, from Africa. She spoke about the diamond. Yeah. He spoke about the diamond around the neck of Elizabeth, and also the crown, which is made out of gold and diamonds, which is stolen from Africa. And I say we have to get those back. And I was saying to Brother Kwezi, as you were off at the time, I'll say to Brother Kwezi, right. I challenge all heads of states of Africa. When are we having a conversation? When are they going to take responsibility to say, during my term, we talked. In fact, we did more than talking. We instigated action in getting back the stolen goods of Africa. We want a complete independence of Africa from Europe and everywhere else, and the US. We want to trade only with each other. We want our stolen goods to come back. We want full ownership of our minerals and all of that.
Yeah, which is owned by China and other countries.
Right. I think he's right about that. It's a problem I have, and it's nothing that we can really do about it at the moment. It's just like the fact that we actually have, it's almost like we have to beg for them to give us our stuff back.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that we can't just go take it back the way they took it from us. But, it's just, but that's just the situation that, we're in, when you really think about it. I think if we had once again, it was just they had more firepower than we had when they came on those shores in Africa.
Yes.
They had the guns, and that's what I think the problem was then, and I think that's still a problem now, where there's no country in Africa that has nuclear weapons. We don't have anything to threaten them with.
Yes.
And I think that if we're going to want to get to the point to where we can just say, hey, you give us our stuff back or else, you see, and without that or else, we're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna take their good old time and get it back. Think about how much money they've already made on all the stuff they stole from Africa and put it in their museums.
And you have tourists going to those countries to view those artifacts, right? Which has nothing to do with them,
right?
And whatever money that is being made stays exactly where the artifacts are.
There's a video that I watched. Apparently, they say they cannot trust us with our own artifacts. And for me, I was like, no, it's a serious insult. The thing is that we still go to them with some sort of, like Brother Nyanga mentioned, begging type to we still go there. There's a brother that I know from Zambia. I think Brother Kwezi would have known him. We've actually engaged. He talked about something, how he has followed and read a lot on the material of Steve Biko. And Steve Biko, to him, the reason why they had to kill him, it's because he felt it was a serious, deep insult to negotiate for your freedom. How do you negotiate for your freedom?
That's a good point.
You can't negotiate.
That kind of should be like the starting point. Like, I'm not going to go into this room with you unless I know I'm free.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go in this room and try to negotiate about my freedom. If I'm going to go to the table with somebody, I should already have my freedom.
Exactly. If you have to negotiate for your freedom, no matter what the outcome of the negotiation, you're still not going to be free.
Because look at it this way. So if you are told that we don't trust you with your own artifacts, so we are keeping it safe for safekeeping for you, what does that mean? How the level of undermining, the level of oppression, the level of saying I'm high, you are low. I know about this more than you, even though you are the one who made it. I get what I'm saying.
Well, that's the arrogance that you talked about last time. The arrogance, the arrogance that they have.
Yeah,
and that's a lot to do with that. My ancestors stole something from you, and I'm not going to give it back to you because you don't know how to take care of it. Even though some of those artifacts they've stolen have been in Africa for centuries before the Europeans even got there.
Of course.
So to say that we don't know how to take care of it really doesn't make any sense.
Insulting.
It's already been taken care of longer than what they had it. So
the best analogy for this thing is like, okay, Nyanga and Lunga, you'll have your house. And somebody tells you, you know what? You can't take care of your house, even though that you built it, you work hard to build it, you have your family living there. So give it to me to control it for you, because you don't know how to control your house.
It's not no. It's not give it to me. I'll take it. I'm taking it. It's mine now. I'll take care of it. I'm taking care of it. You are not responsible. I don't trust you that you're responsible enough to manage it. That's how it is. And I want to tell you something else which is very disturbing. Apparently the Xhosa community from the apartheid era until now, they've been requesting for the head of their king. Apparently it's in the palace of Elizabeth. The king of the Xhosas was beheaded, and they left with his head, and it's in the palace of the queen. till this very day. So they wrote letters and sent people there to try and negotiate the head skeleton to come back to them, because to their tribe it's such a pain even this very day. Can you imagine that?
That's crazy. It's the pain. When they have these African exhibits, that they put on all around New York, these big states in America, and they'll come to town with these big African exhibits, and you don't really think about it, but most of those things are all stolen artifacts. And it takes them to the point when they go to. I really wish Wakanda existed, but when you go to the first part of the Black Panther movie, I had some issues, of course, with it, but we can talk about that another time. But one of the parts I did, like when they do go to the museum and the white ladies talking to them about these African masks, which really are a work of art and also mean a lot to those tribes that actually created those masks, ceremonies and whatnot. And this white lady's trying to tell him about what this means and all this kind of stuff. And it's just like, this is so backwards. Like, why is a white lady trying to educate him? I mean, she doesn't know that he's from Wakanda, of course. And also, she didn't have all her facts right about the mask, which I'm pretty sure is still the case. There's no way that the Europeans know every single thing about those artifacts that they've taken away, and those artifacts need to be in their rightful place. Yes. That's where it actually means something. What is an African mask that means something about this worshiping the ancestors?
Yes.
For instance, what is it doing in Europe? The ancestors are not in Europe.
Yes. Absolutely, yeah.
There's no point for that mask to be there. It has no meaning anymore when you take it out of its natural habitat.
If you also remember,
talking about understanding the whole medical, the purpose of stuff. That chess and drafts, something that we play as games. They are not games, but they are usually medical devices. So that goes back to what you said, Nyanga. A lot of things were taken without the full understanding of the items that was taken. And what happens is that whatever story that is being given is a watered down version or just not the truth at all.
Very true.
Yeah. Also, one thing that I also want to touch on is that, if you also, for those who read spiritual literature and Bible, holy books, and all of that, they would remember also the tabernacle of God needed to be returned, because that's what got the army of the people of the time. It gave them victory. They knew whenever they got to war, when that is there, the presence of their God is there. Are you guys following what I'm saying? And for many years, it was lost and it was unaccounted for. And they looked for it and searched for it. It had to come back. So exactly that very same note, stuff needs to come back. But I personally feel, as Langa, that we have to first deal to, for them to sit up and take notice, we need to deal with their descendant here in Africa, whom are also very arrogant. And by so doing, by dealing with them here, those who are here, and I'll tell you something very disturbing. I'll try and find, because I saw a video. So on this video, one of this Boer says it was crazy because it was in Parliament. This was actually in Parliament, saying that Africans are people who took the reason they look the way they look. They took black polish, and use it on themselves to look how they look.
What?
Can you actually?
That is crazy.
in Parliament. I'll try and get that. I know that the EFF and Julius Malema, they went crazy. They went bananas. They went crazy. How do you say that? How do you open your mouth and say that? I don't care whether you're a member of Parliament or it was said in Parliament, even if it was just said somewhere in the gap. How do you even say such a thing?
I mean, I think a lot of, because, see, that board, I think that he has a constituents that he's playing to. And I'm noticing that a lot in especially politics, where if you have people who are coming from a particular district, what they'll end up doing is, they might have a district that's full of a bunch of, racist boards, and or he might have people following him on, it's like clickbait, and it's about getting more followers on your Twitter account. That's a big thing ever since Trump was a famous tweeter. A lot of politicians are trying to use the social media to bolster their status or whatnot. And I think that does go on, and this guy's probably saying that just to get people to start listening to him, but they don't realize how words can really damage, and what you end up doing is, he might start saying things like this, and it emboldens people who are, maybe they might have, I'm pretty sure that they have militias, the boards, they have their militias that they go out in the woods and on the countryside, and they train and do all that, because we have white supremacists in America that do the same thing. And that board politician that you're talking about, he's speaking to them. That's the kind of stuff that they like to hear, and they'll vote him in office every single time because he's saying racist things that resonate with them. And we just have to, politicians have become very much more reckless in their speech nowadays, especially the rise of the right-wing politicians, and they're using their rhetoric in order to galvanize support for themselves. And I think that's really what that guy's really all about. He's, saying things so that he can get people to notice him, gain followers, galvanize more support for himself politically because of the people, the constituents that he's trying to reach. That's the kind of speech that they like to hear.
I can actually tell you.
So true.
I can actually tell you. I don't know if, gentlemen, you've heard about Eugene Terreblanche. I'm going to look up. Eugene Terreblanche was a guy who, just like this guy, but he was very malicious. He was very practical during the apartheid era. I'll get more information on him so that we unpack the story nicely. But what I know, he beheaded people, he buried them alive, he did all sorts of things, and he was a bull who had I think a couple of farms as well. He burned African people alive. He did all sorts of crazy things. He'll the things. Yeah, he would actually electrocute them and all of that. He had fun, pleasure. So this is what he said, even after Nelson Mandela was president. He said something like, he was telling the Boer, I think it's one of his final speech. He says, let me tell you, we're going to, he was speaking in Afrikaans. He said, ons sal ry die, what's that? Ons sal ry die swart perd. So that means we will once again ride on the black horse. So he was the guy. You should look him up. Actually, he used to go into parliament with the black horse, and he says that he represent the Boers, and the black horse symbolizes the black community or the African community. Say, we riding on them like this. We'll once again ride. They'll become, we'll be on top of them. They'll carry us around. Basically, he did some crazy thing. But guess what? The time of the ancestors happened because he got murdered. He got murdered by the people who were working on the farm.
Wow.
Yeah, there was an African guy, which I'm very, very proud of, who took him out.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Who took him out? So
Judgment Day will come. Judgment Day will come.
Yeah.
And this guy, when he said that in Parliament, what should have happened is that, the black people should just hold him down and polish over him, and let's see how black he is.
No, I don't think that would actually solve the matter. They should. I'm sorry to actually say this. Such people don't deserve to live. Once we as African can move on, because I remember the EFF was very riled up, making a noise and talking about how can he say such a thing. But now I'm thinking maybe since when a person knows that all you do is just talk, and they like seeing the fact that you lose your reasoning ability once you raise your voice, and they'll start playing on that. So he now knows each time he wants Julius Malema to go ballistic, this is what he has to say, something like that. Whether he, like you said, I know one thing is also to get popularity and get people who think like him support him and always ensure that he's in the leadership role of their political party. But this is where I stand. Such people should say such a thing, and they shouldn't see the rise of the morning from there. That's it. That's just my perspective. That's my perspective. Yeah. Say something like that. We don't reply. Quiet. Tomorrow you'll know more. That's just my perspective. If we could actually come to that point as Africans to say, no, we action takers. It has to come to an end. It has to come to an end.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Action. That's what we need. That's what we should. That's what our ancestors are calling for right now. They're calling for action.
Yeah. It's not a situation where it's like either you do something or you just want to deal with the status quo, because the status quo is never going to truly change. And they'll just let you do certain things to make you feel a little better, but you'll never truly be as free as you should be, and especially for African people, I remember at one point, the way they were teaching history growing up in America, which they still do today, teach the same way. They're coming from a perspective of, how they don't really tell you how the Africans were living before the Europeans got here, by the way. So they call it world history, but the world history only begins in Europe.
Imagine.
So, I know, right? Which is funny because they even talk about the Dark Ages, and you kind of like wondering, okay, this is the only part of the world that was going on, but I digress. But anyway, I do think that we were we had more of a freedom mindset than we do today, even with Africans who own their own, who basically, I shouldn't say own their country, because corporations, whether they're European corporations or American corporations, Western corporations, they really own own a lot of countries. But what happens is we're really in a state where, if we don't do something, then what's going to happen is we're just going to continue to have that. We talked about it last time, with that slave mentality, or that imprisoned mindset that really comes from being colonized. And I think all African people are going through the same type of thing. Whether, yes, we were all colonized differently, but it really was the same result. The result was colonization. So we've all suffered from imperialism. And at some point, we have to do something to break that.
Yes.
And and that's why I think why we're like us talking now, you got somebody from America, somebody from the Caribbean, somebody from Africa. You know, that's how you fight imperialism, because that's a global phenomenon. You know, the only way you can fight it, Kwezi brought it up last time, which was a Pan-Africanism. And the only way you can do that is by truly connecting with other brothers, African people from other parts of the world, in order to fight that globalism, that imperialistic mindset.
Which brings me to another point, but I think we will talk after this recording, unless we are all okay with actually, because I believe we have to make some sort of an email address where the people who are enjoying this podcast and they actually want to add onto it and they want to communicate with us, maybe at some point even join us, and they also believe this enlightenment needs to be shared everywhere, and they have suggestions, we can actually bring them on. And then I just want to say, we'll talk about how people can actually reach out, and then we can communicate and we can have that communication with them, because this is the fire. It has started. We only have to be part of it. We are called. We are that generation. It's actually the appointed time. It's the appointed time for Africa to actually take actions. You know, there's nothing hidden now. And for me, if the death of Elizabeth is very much symbolic, it's over.
Yeah.
We just need to maximize the moment. It's very much, you know, if we can then understand that as the people of Africa, that this is indeed the appointed time. This is the time that we have to actually take action. Everything is in alignment. Everything is correct. Now, are we willing? That's the question now. Are we willing? Because everything is there now. Brother Kwezi, what's your thoughts? Can you expound on that a bit?
True indeed. Everything is there. You know, like a fire, there is the oxygen, there is the fuel. All we now need to do is to light the match. That's all.
Yes, the oxygen is there, the fuel is there, the heat is there. Now it just needs to combust. That's all we need to do. And these words, let them echo to every African person, echo from Africa to around the world. If you're an African, I'm not talking about African America or African European or whatever. I don't know, that to me doesn't make it. You're an African wherever you are. Doesn't matter where you are. You're an African. So as long as you're an African and you're an African descent, for this is your responsibility, that we come together. This is the appointed time. This is the right generation. Everything is in place. The cat is out of the bag, as they would say it.
And we now need to strike whilst the iron is hot. You know, this is the best time to dismantle a monarchy whilst it is at its weakest. Because like I was saying to somebody, nobody will ever give Elizabeth the same respect to King Charles. King Charles isn't going to get that respect. That's for sure.
Oh, it's over.
It's not.
No, it's over, brother. It's over. That's what I'm saying. This is just symbolic. This thing is over. I like what Brother Nyanga said. He says, now we just need to kill this thing in our minds now. That's all. That's how he started. Like, whoa, this is powerful. Now we just need to kill this whole thing in our mind. Let it die. So once we kill this in our minds, then they're done for. The reason I believe, the reason we are standing between us and taking action, because there's this thing living in our minds. But guess what? We have the weapon to actually kill it. So let's enlighten each other. Let's connect with our history and our indigenous knowledge. Let's connect with our identity. And once we do that, gentlemen, once we actually do that, this thing will be dead. And then when it's dead, they'll sit up and take notice, because there will be action taking place.
Like I said, we need to strike whilst the iron is hot, because this is no better time than the present.
So we'd like to urge everybody who's enjoying this podcast to actually share, like, and subscribe. We're not necessarily doing this we're just trying to get it out there because we understand that it helps the algorithm when you like and also when you share and when you also subscribe, so that other people can actually be able to receive this information. Because there's a lot of people who think like this, who feel this burning thing. I was saying to Brother Kwezi in one of our conversation, I was saying there's a proverb in Africa that says imbiza yamshisa, meaning there's a burning herb in you. There's something burning me. There's something burning Brother Quiz. There's something burning Brother Nyanga. But it's not the three of us which this thing is burning. It's burning in a lot of people. So that's not us. That's our ancestors. That's our signals to say it is time. It is time. That herb, there's a herb that they've put in us which is burning us, that is fueling us. So it's that time. The time has actually come. It has all happened for this to come, for this moment. Everything has been in place for this moment. So the time has actually come. So yeah, if you like this content, like it and share it with the persons. And maybe on the following episode, we'll talk about how you can reach out and communicate with either Brother Nyanga, Brother Kwezi, or myself, or we will create some email group or page, whatever way you guys can reach out and you can consume this content. And we can keep going. We are building this thing. It is the ancestral time. It is the African time, which has been appointed. But first, Brother Mark couldn't have started this episode well by actually stating that we need to kill it in the mind. Now, let's kill it in the mind. Brother Nyanga, do you want to say something?
I just love people to take a listen, and if they have anything they want to add, we just will be able to provide an email for them, because there's a lot of things for us to talk about. I think the important thing is for us to communicate with each other, which is one of the most important things. And quick thing, I was reading a book about slave rebellions. Anyway, in this book, one of they hated when you had first of all, they tried to make sure when you had when a slave owner was buying a slave, to make sure that slave didn't have other fellow tribesmen on his plantation. Because what they realized when they were doing it, they started doing the slave trade really hard in the Caribbean, they realized that this was a problem. So we have to discourage the language. And then, after the Haitian Rebellion, they had some slaves that ended up coming down to Louisiana, in the southern states, and those slaves were, you have to be very careful. These are troubled slaves. The troubled slaves got sold for a little less because they were troubled, because if you get them on your plantation, they might just start a rebellion. And I think it was all about making sure that Pan-Africanism really kind of fights against imperialism, because what they don't want is for us to all bring our perspectives together, and we actually can find out how we can break the cycle.
Yes.
Because if you come onto my plantation, what you experienced from where you are, you bring it to me. It's about knowledge, and the only way we gain more knowledge on how to fight the beast is by talking with each other.
Yes.
So I think this podcast is going to do a great thing to free the minds of people, because all African people need to learn how to communicate with each other, even though we have different cultures and different languages we speak. The important thing is that we stick to each other as African people.
And also if there's anybody who can comment for now on our YouTube channel, there'll be the comment section that you can actually view your you can actually send your comments, and we'll view them. We'll talk about them live on the following podcast. It's very, very important that we communicate with each other, that we relate with each other, because we are by history and by blood that we are related. as Africans. So we need to look out for each other. We need to empower each other. We need to sharpen. I'm not going to be sharpened by a European. Iron sharpens iron. And if you're an African, I'm an African, meaning you can only sharpen me. I can only sharpen you. Yeah. Brother Kwezi, do you want to say anything?
I am agreeing to everything that has been said. We need to sharpen each other. The best way that we can do so is to lean on each other, because united we stand, divided we fall.
That's true. And maybe what we can actually do, we have to create, because this is a Zania Vision Network. I'm going to speak to my brothers about this, but I'm sure they wouldn't mind if I actually say this. So if you also in African, you own an African restaurant, tell us on the comment section. We want to advertise you here on this podcast. We want to talk about it. Free advertisement. So if you have any form of African practice and you've got African herbs and all, tell us. We're going to talk about it here. Anything that's African, we want to talk about it here, and we want to endorse it. We want to show you that we actually completely endorse it, and we in partnership with you. We are supporting what you do. We supporting. If you've got a story to tell as an African, you want to tell us a story, please, you can tell us on the comment section. You can tell us how to reach you and communicate with you. Brother Nyanga, I'm sure you guys don't mind, and Brother Kwezi.
No, we don't mind. No, not at all.
Because
like you said, there is only African near and far.
Yes.
Whatever business that you are operating, anything that you want to say, reach out to us, and we will give you a platform to advertise your business and to also enlighten, to share your views. Like I said, in this podcast and in the previous podcast, we need to start building this economy.
Yes.
And the only way that we can build this black economy is people like ourselves coming together and starting somewhere.
Yes. Absolutely. So it's very important that we come together. So even if you have a business as an African brother or African sister, let me tell you this: you want employees, let us know. We will put the word out there, and then the African people can actually come in and tap into that very thing. Because as Africans, we need to build each other. This thing of Africans pulling each other down, that programming is over. It's gone now. Like I said, the death of Elizabeth, that symbolized the chains falling off. These mental chains are being broken. We have to just realize it now. We just need to walk into the space of freedom mentally. Brother Nyanga, what would you like to say as we conclude right now? What would be your parting thoughts?
Well, my parting thought, I know we started off talking about the Queen, and I just want to make sure that in closing about the Queen that we look at the symbols. It's about getting rid of symbols, things that represent the enslavement of our ancestors, or the imperialism or colonialism, or things that we do not hold dear to our hearts anymore. Symbols need to be destroyed, and I think that that's part of training ourselves into it. And I think that would make our ancestors happy.
Exactly.
And that's what really we need to live. Our ancestors, even when you talk about biology, I mean, we are the gene pool that we were born, that we showed, that how we were born, how we were birthed. That gene pool is made of all our ancestors. I might look like somebody who was, 300-400 years ago. And if you're the living proof of your ancestors.
Yes.
And I think a lot of times our youth, they don't think about their ancestors anymore. They just are living for the now. When you live for the now, you're not honoring your ancestors. So I'll part with that.
Yes, and my thoughts, just a quick one in passing about what you're saying. What they're missing, and this is it's an African proverb that there might be our ancestors, our great grandparents, and all of that, and our forefathers. They might be laying in their graves, but they're actually buried in us. They are us. They are in us. We are the makeup of them. And it's it's a little bit disturbing thinking that you can actually not pay honor to who you are, and that's the identity. I'm going to share my thoughts, but quickly, brother Kwezi, can you share your parting thought? And I'm going to share something nice that I feel so good even thinking about it.
Oh, wow. Okay, so my parting thought is this: Mother Africa, the appointed time has come. This is the appointed time. If you are listening to me via this podcast, we now need to change first and foremost our mentality so that we can gear ourselves to take action.
Yes, sir. Yes,
We
sir.
need to start leading
Yes, sir.
for each other.
Yes.
People create this economy.
Yes.
And once we have this economy, we can tell the Europeans where to fuck off.
Oh my goodness, I like that. Okay, my parting thoughts, gentlemen. We have to do this all the time. If you partake of this content, like I also did it last week, something came alive. I felt very much connected with who I am. And I just want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, who are tuning in and who are also sharing this word. We all need it. This is medication for everybody who's in Africa. Brother Nyanga, thank you so very much. Brother Kwezi, I'm hoping, and I know this, that's not a hope, I know the same impact it did to me, it did to you and everybody else who tuned in. All right.
100%.
This was the second episode of Azania Vision Network. Thank you so very much.